Hi, my name is Mark Divers. I want to thank you for attending my presentation of Millennial Homes. I look forward over the next 15 minutes to convincing you of the excellent investment opportunity that lies in front of you. See, I've been in the Houston area now for 3 years running a small consulting firm coordinating commissioning. And during that time, I've witnessed firsthand the impacts that falling commodity prices are having on the housing market here. You see, my neighbor across the street was forced to sell his home after receiving a notification of layoff. When his home did finally sell, I pulled the data on it and I was surprised to find how low it sold for. I called a friend of mine, Shane, and asked him to perform some analysis, and he came back and agreed that that house sold for about 12% less than it should have. And that got me wondering. I met my neighbor, I knew him well enough to know he wasn't the type of guy to take a 12% haircut on such a large asset. Furthermore, if that house really was 12% undervalued, it should have had more traffic. It should have sold much quicker, and these things didn't happen. So I did some more digging, and what I saw was the pictures of the house and his listing and the advertisement associated with it. And what really caught me was the pictures. They were cold, they were chaotic. The house that it portrayed was not a house I would want to go into. But I've actually been in my neighbor's house, and it was a great home. These pictures were not doing it justice, and I could see why the potential buyers were turned off, why they would select the next home and keep moving forward. My neighbor was undergoing an immense amount of chaos, and those pictures captured that the feeling that was going on. It captured the energy of that house. After 10 years of working for a company, being laid off, having to uproot your kids out of their schools to move them to a new location, find a job and hope for the best. That's what was capturing these pictures, but that has nothing to do with the value of the home. And knowing that, I wanted to find a solution to this problem. And that solution, I believe, is millennial homes. So what is millennial homes? Well, it's a whole new dimension to real estate. It's a whole new way of marketing real estate. See, marketing in the 21st century, as I'm sure you will agree, has been altered beyond recognition. It's more social. It's more mobile. It's more interconnected than it's ever been. With the exception of websites like Zillow, real estate has really failed to adapt. When we go to sell a home, we go to our local expert, real estate expert. He or she comes by, they take a few pictures of our home, they say a few kind words about it, maybe point out the pergola out back and some school data, put that on the web and disseminate it through MLS. And we hope that somebody stumbles across that listing and offers to buy our house. This sort of marketing strategy just isn't going to work anymore, especially in the 21st century as technology is beginning to take over. So we have this dualistic problem that exists in the housing market. We got the seller who's competing with a limited number of potential buyers. And so the seller, in order to present their house in a more effective manner, might hire stagers, might hire professional photographers, might even bring in a constructor to help redo the granite countertops, help put in new tile. You see, all of this takes value away from the seller, and it doesn't necessarily add value to the buyer, who may not like the color of granite you chose, who may not like that backsplash. You see, the buyers, on the other hand, also are faced with quite a significant problem. They get to walk into home after home, and each home has its own unique features, if you will. Some houses are going to be cluttered and chaotic. Other houses are going to be filled with staged furniture or perhaps the owner's furniture, but it's not the potential buyer's furniture. And so this buyer, after running through multiple homes, becomes frustrated. And if you've ever moved, you understand this frustration, you understand this confusion, and you know it leads to mistakes. And you move into a place where your couch doesn't quite fit. That heirloom that your grandmother gave you doesn't quite go with the house. And so you're forced to make changes and modifications, costly changes and modifications, all subtracting value from the buyer. And so what Millennial Homes is looking to do is use computer-aided design and virtual reality in conjunction with augmented reality to help visualize the home before it's purchased. You see, we believe we can add exceptional value by offering this technology. And we like to ride the tailwind of Pokemon Go, which has made augmented reality quite popular lately. See, augmented reality allows us to take the home as we see it and then drag perhaps that heirloom that your grandmother gave you over into the corner to see if it would fit. And maybe you realize the colors aren't quite like you'd imagine. So with a swipe of your hand, you repaint the walls. And with another swipe, you retile the floors. And you can picture what this house might look like with your unique touches to it. So I think by now you get a good sense of the value we can deliver to our potential customers. What I want to do is shift gears a bit and talk about the value we can deliver our potential investors. You see, if you flip to your appendix under the earnings tab for year 5, you'll see that we're projecting a $380,000 earnings in year 5 with a conservative price to earnings ratio of 14.5. We believe we'll have a year 5 valuation of $5.3 million. Round 1 investors who come in at year 1, providing us with $400,000 in exchange for a 50% stake in the company, will enjoy an internal rate of return of 188% and a return on invested capital of 588%. We'll be using those funds to help market our product through advertisement and through hiring of a sales team. Round 2 investors will come in exchange for 25% equity in the company, will receive $600,000. This will give them an internal rate of return of 57% and a return on invested capital of 130%. These funds will be used to create the web platform and also help penetrate the top 10 most populous cities across the United States. So such exceptional value cannot be created without a few things. One is a complete understanding of the industry we're operating in. Secondly, is a strategic understanding of how to provide the competitive advantage to excel past those competing with us within this industry. And the third is a leadership team in place who can identify those strategies and pursue them to create that economic benefit that investors will enjoy. So let's talk about the competitive advantage real quickly. The source of our competitive advantage stems from 9 months of data gathered prior to this point. So we conducted a series of hypothesis testing, and what we found was that realtors were frustrated with millennial home purchasers. The realtors found the millennials to be too picky. And this frustration caused them to fail to properly engage with them. The millennials, likewise, and not surprising here, felt that they weren't being listened to. And this also impacted the way they were trying to buy real estate. But more than that, what we found was, and this is something that's obvious in hindsight, is that millennials are buying things in a completely different way. They're using their smartphones. They're using technology. If they want to eat at a restaurant, they go to Yelp. If they want to hail a taxi, they go to Uber. If they want a hotel room, they go to Airbnb. And if they want household goods, they order from Amazon.com. And so what we did to leverage those the deficiencies and create a niche market is we put together a management team that can bring the technology of virtual reality and augmented reality to the millennials to allow them to purchase homes. And what I want to do right now is introduce that management team to you. See, in the top left, we have Arvon. During his time at Cal Poly, while studying computer programming, designed Arvixi, a web hosting platform. In 2013, Inc. magazine called Arvon one of the top 30 under 30. He's since sold Arvixi, and when he returns from driving his rally car across Europe, he'll be joining our team as a chief investment officer. Shane Stone is a local Houstonian tech aficionado and Houston real estate expert. We look forward to Shane joining our team as the vice president of sales and marketing. Eric Ivers, who is currently the lead architect and chief designer for Horde Architecture, graduated with his master's from Notre Dame in classical architecture, will be joining our team as a vice president of design. And finally, myself, a graduate of New School University and a hopeful graduate of Washington State University's MBA. We looking to leverage my knowledge of not only human resources, but now finance and business administration to keep this team highly focused on pursuing those core strategies we have identified. Why millennials? Well, millennials account for the largest population in the US, that's 27%. They're also reaching a time in their life where they're starting to become first-time home buyers. Yet there is nobody there to fill the void of merging their purchasing habits with the requirements for real estate. And that's a void Millennial Homes is looking to fulfill. What I want to do now is introduce you to our product users. I want you to meet Christian and Ashley. They're 26 years old. They live approximately 5 bus stops from the downtown Houston area in a small apartment. They both have jobs they really enjoy, although not necessarily tied to their 4-year degree. During the week, they can be found at the gym, exercising. During exercise, they're streaming music to through their smartphones. Although considered early adopters of technology, they are part of the 3 in 4 people who do not pay for premium music services. This is important for us because as part of our initial advertising campaign, we'll be reaching our core demographic through Spotify and Pandora. They also, on weekends, can be found at the art galleries, museums, and farmers markets. Now, the farmers market's also important to us because this is going to provide us with a low-cost way of accessing our target demographic, while at the same time being able to provide education about our product. This education is important because it helps us overcome one of the strategic risks we've identified, and that strategic risk is diffusion. What we're going to use is education as a mean of helping us diffuse our product. In addition to that, we are going to be publicizing advantages and compatibility of virtual reality in regards to meeting the needs of home staging. Right. One of the ways we're going to do this is by working with local realtors. And we're going to use like an Uber-like model to help increase the triability and observability of our product. See, another advantage to working with these local realtors is that we can mitigate the diffusion risk associated with complexity, right? By providing the training to the realtors, and that in turn allows the realtors to provide training to their customers, which are our customers. I'm absolutely convinced that you see the excellent investment opportunity that lies in front of you. That 9 months of research has helped us uncover many obstacles that we now have plans for mitigation. What obstacles that do remain, we have a leadership team that's more than capable of overcoming. The research has also helped us identify a unique value proposition that we have tailored to meet the requirements of the millennials, a target market that we believe we thoroughly now understand, a market that we have successfully created channels to, a value proposition that is superior to our competitors in both profits and in performance. With all this in mind, I'd like you to carefully consider the proposal in front of you. I thank you for your time and really look forward to hearing back from you. Thanks again.